Hi, Aquarius Sun and Rising. Welcome to your February 2024 Astro Update. It's Rena here. Oh my gosh, last night I decided to record your reading on my laptop, and even though I don't like to record things directly from there, but I felt inspired, and today I tried to recover that recording and I couldn't. And I'm not going to go into the boring details on why not, but suffice it to say, I am starting all over again, and that's fine and dandy. I can deal with it. This is a month to remember for Aquarians. Definitely. And actually, you could say that the opening shot, if you will, is going to be when, because I'm recording this the first week in January, and and a lot of you will be listening in January. This is going to be occurring in the future on January 20th when the Sun and Pluto both go into Aquarius. Now, Pluto already went into Aquarius in 2023, late March until May 1st, when it went retrograde, and whenever it went back into Capricorn, I don't know, not really important. I think it was like June or something, or July. But the point is that this is for the Sun to go into Aquarius on the same day, to me is like, wow. But as February begins and we have the Sun and Pluto in your sign, in your first house, now we're going to have other planets go into Aquarius as well. Before I continue, I'm sure most of you know that this is a general reading. Everybody has their own individual chart. So if you're listening for your sun sign, that would be your solar chart, your rising sign, your natal chart. And it's going to differ from person to person. These transits, a lot of you will experience them eventually, so it's no biggie, but it depends on the degrees of your different houses. So anyway, we're just going to generalize it. If you would like a personal reading, you can, contact me or order a reading at the link below, and that will be specific for your natal chart. On February 5th, Mercury goes into your sign. So here we have 3 planets: the Sun, Pluto, and now Mercury. Mercury going into your first house means that this gives you an advantage for being able to kind of promote yourself. When your sun sign or even your ascendant is in the same sign as Mercury, you're able to kind of promote yourself better because there's an alignment there. You're communicating who you are, or if it's your ascendant, you're communicating in a way that's consistent with how you're presenting yourself to others. Why would this even be necessary? Well, maybe you're looking for a new job and you're being asked those stupid questions that they ask people to humiliate them. I don't know, to try to see how subservient they are. Can you tell that I have an attitude about these things? But yeah, I mean, if you're looking for a job, sometimes that can be very helpful to be, when they say, okay, well, tell us a little bit about yourself. Or if you're dating and you're meeting somebody new. Sometimes I eavesdrop on people when I'm in a cafe, and I can hear that 2 people are on their first date. Maybe they met online. I'm assuming they met online. And it's like, it's kind of funny because it almost feels like a job interview sometimes. Not that they're grilling each other, but just kind of filling each other in. And it's like awkward. No, but it can be interesting to listen to if you're nosy like me, I guess. So, on the 9th, there is a new moon at 20 degrees of Aquarius. So that's another thing that's in Aquarius. Um, so this is your new cycle beginning. Don't forget that this can be a time to set new intentions if you want to, even if you kind of question it and say, I don't know if this stuff is really real. It gives us some excuse to do it, right? Even if we don't know if it's going to pan out or not, at least we can say that there's some opportunity for us to do something along these lines. Okay? So, yeah, that can be very a great time to kind of like take stock in where you've been and where you want to go. Okay? And some of you, a lot of you are having your birthdays in February versus late January. But happy birthday to all of you, those of you in late January as well. And I feel like this can be a time where um, you can think about, dream big, what you want. Pluto can empower you, and this is when we talk about dreaming big, things only seem grandiose when a person is playing small. And why do people play small? Because they really don't think that they have much influence in life. And I don't blame people for thinking that. That seems realistic. It almost seems um, delusional to think that you actually have some kind of sway. So just remember that you hold the key. On the 13th, Mars goes into your sign. Now, Mars in the first house can make a person rather, like energized, raring to go. Mars is the ruler of the first house in astrology because the first house is ruled by Aries and Aries is ruled by Mars. There's a physicality here. The first house can be the body. So you may, without even thinking about it, say, hey, I'm going to start a new exercise regimen. With the new moon in your sign, that might just be something that you come up with in and of itself, but having Mars enter this house 4 days later really helps your cause in that regard. Watch out, because with Mars joining all these other planets in your first house, including Mercury, you might be feeling rather impatient, rather ballsy, meaning that you are even overconfident, but you could be rash. So you want to make sure that you're not rash. You're not doing things on the spur of the moment in your emotions. But because you're an Aquarius, that might not be a really big risk, because Aquarius is an air sign, and air signs can be detached. But the thing is when Mars is in conjunction with your sun, it can make you like an Aries person. So you could be kind of, temporarily morphing into an Aries. And also watch out, I said ballsy, but also being cocky, being arrogant. I always, I think I've heard of, Aquarians being a know-it-all type of thing. So it could be like that mental, yeah, and you've got Mercury there, that mental sort of aggression. Where, Mars can be competitive, but, or even being mouthy and, shooting your mouth off. instead of thinking before you speak. But definitely, um, watch out for a tendency to be more combative than you usually are. Then on the 16th, Venus enters this house. Can you even believe this? All this in the first house. Now, again, this is what I'm talking about when I say this may not be true for all of you. For instance, with that new moon at 20 degrees of Aquarius, if your rising sign is below 20 degrees, let's say your rising sign is 17 degrees of Aquarius. I'm sorry, I mean, like, see, that's why I don't like to do these things, because I actually get confused. Let's say that your rising sign is 22 degrees of Aquarius. The new moon is going to be in your 12th house. And by the way, for those of you that have your rising sign the last 10 degrees or 9 degrees of Aquarius, and it's actually in your 12th house, there are some similarities between the 12th and the first houses. You can still plant seeds of intention about what you want, and it can even be more of a powerful thing in certain ways, because the 12th house can be seen as the womb of creation, or even like a 0 point field, so that when it comes into that physical reality of the first house, when you have a new moon there, or a full moon, actually, that you can manifest things in the physical. Rather, the 12th house is a spiritual dimension. So that's a very interesting thing as well. But getting back to Venus entering this house, this can make you magnetic. Mars is the masculine, Venus is the feminine. The masculine is aggressive and is a go-getter. The feminine is passive and is having some things come to her. Both of these types of approaches have their place. One is not more valid than the other. Venus in the first can give you that special something, that charm that attracts people to you. And it's not like you need much attraction, because when you have all of this going on in that first house, it just it's very compelling, and you probably are already the center of attention in a certain way. You may feel compelled to do something based on your physical appearance, like maybe get a new hairstyle. With Mars here very close, be careful that you're not doing something on the spur of the moment that you would later regret. But of course, if it is something like a haircut, that is pretty superficial. That's not going to be the end of the world. But, when we use the word attraction, Venus is the attractor. On the 18th, the sun goes into Pisces. Cha-ching! This is your second house of earned income. And by the way, Venus is the ruler of the second house. So even in the first house, there could be some benefit. Venus and Pluto there could be good for money as it pertains to you as an individual. So, for instance, those Aquarians who are in sales, you could clean up, because just putting yourself out there in a certain way could make you seem particularly attractive. And then, so the sun is there, and that gives more influence. On the 23rd, Mercury goes there in the second house, and your mind is on your money, and money is on your mind. And you already have Neptune and Saturn in this area. So you already have these slower moving planets. Of course, Saturn isn't as slow as Neptune. But Saturn is about organization. So with Saturn in that area with Mercury, you could be strategizing, crunching the numbers, looking at how you want to, in 2024, lay down these foundations for your economic future. The very next day, we have a full moon at 5 degrees of Virgo. Virgo for you, this is your 8th house. So the 8th house is Scorpio's domain. This can be a very emotional full moon for you as an Aries. I think back to when I did that reading or that video about people who have their sun in Aquarius and their moon in Scorpio, and I couldn't believe how many people responded to that, because it really just amused the heck out of me, because I didn't know that so many people would have that, but also the fact that you guys who do have it are like totally confused. And this is kind of, and the reason for that is because Aquarius is really not, doesn't have the same kind of emotional nature that we would associate with Scorpio. I mean, it's like night and day. So during this full moon, some very strong emotions can come up for you. This is also the house of shared resources, so you may learn something, because full moons can bring out secrets or bring out information about an inheritance or other form of money. Even if you're coupled right now, you might find out a little secret about your partner's spending habits or whatever. So all of these things can come up. The 8th house is a shadow self. So this is what I was getting at when I'm talking about Aquarius and Scorpio, is that the goal of Aquarius, or all air signs as far as I'm concerned, is to rise above it all. Scorpio can be very heavy emotions. And I keep saying Scorpio, Scorpio. I know that this full moon is in Virgo, but for you, that is the sign that rules that house that Scorpio is connected with in astrology. Luckily for you, it's Virgo, so it's not going to be, it's an earth sign, so it's kind of detached like air signs, but still, the house placement matters. So this might be some kind of insight that you have about something that you haven't really dealt with that's coming to the surface. And, things that come to the surface are meant to be released. So don't be afraid to allow that to happen. By the way, this is a really cool date. It's 2/24/2024. So there you go. Okay, Aquarius, that's what I have for you. I hope that this resonated. If you would like a private reading, what better time to look at the year ahead for you? And if you're listening this for your sun sign, your natal chart is likely going to be radically different from these transits I am mentioning. This is just for your solar information. So for sure, if your birthday is coming up, that might be really cool. And I have a package deal, an hour of natal chart analysis, an hour of transits for a special price versus buying those readings separately, because I do sell them separately. The special price is $85.85 in US dollars. And I have other package deals. I have individual readings for love, career, etc. You can find out more information at the link below. I'm at RenaMoonAstrology.com. Thanks for listening. Bye.